So an example of a behavioral stressor would be not getting enough sleep, sleeping going to bed too late, getting up too early, not getting the 8 to 9 hours of sleep on a regular basis so that you're exhausted. And all of us have experienced that, where we've had different reasons that we weren't getting enough rest, and then our stress level was increased. Maybe a friend was joking with us, and because we weren't getting enough sleep, we bit their head off, where normally we would have laughed at the joke they were giving us, or how they were making fun of us, or whatever. Our patience was a lot slimmer because of that. So that's an example of a behavioral stressor. Then the last stressor is called a life-changing stressor. Now, this one doesn't happen quite as often, but it can be really ramp up your stress level. Obviously, what's going on in our lives, depending on your situation, could be a life-changing stressor that we have to learn how to deal with, that we're not experienced in dealing with. So it can be a something that doesn't happen all the time, but can really change your stress level. Other life-changing stressors might be a new baby being born into your family, or the death of a loved one, or moving. Those type of things are examples of life-changing stressors. Now, what you're going to do now is see how vulnerable you are to stress. Now, before you take this quiz, you need to understand that how vulnerable you are to stress doesn't mean how much stress you have in your life, but how is your body going to deal with stress because of how well or not well you're taking care of yourself. So if you'll answer this honestly, you'll have a good idea of how well you're helping your body so that it can handle the daily stresses that we have, because it does happen every single day. Some days we have more stress than others, but it does happen every day. So you're going to number on a piece of paper 1 to 20. And obviously, I won't know if you did this or not, but I think it's a great way for you to analyze what you need to improve on in your life so that you don't get more sick, both long-term and short-term illnesses, because you're not helping your body enough with dealing with stress. So as you number your paper 1 to 20, what you will do is then next to that number, as I go through different questions and scenarios, you're going to put a 1 if it almost always applies to you, to 5 if it never applies to you, and somewhere in between. And you can see on this slide what number you put that corresponds with how it relates to you. So let's just go through this with these different slides. The number 1 is, do you eat at least one hot balanced meal a day? Again, going back to this, you put a 1 if you do have at least one hot balanced meal a day. If most of the time, 2 to never. And just for the record, McDonald's drive-through Big Mac and fries may be hot, but it's not a balanced meal. So fast food would not count. It's sitting down, eating a well-cooked meal, or in a restaurant, which a lot of times we can't go to right now, as of right now. But so that's how these go. And on each of these, you'll put again a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So let's go to number 2. Question number 2. Do you get 8 hours of sleep at least 4 nights a week? Again, 1 if every week you do, 2 most of the weeks, to 5 no, there's not a week that goes by that you get that much sleep at least 4 nights a week. Okay, so we'll zip through these a little quicker now. Number 3, I give and receive affection regularly. That doesn't mean that you have to have a big hug every day, although that's for those of us who are blue personalities that we'll learn about later, that are more of touchy-feely, huggy people. Then it might be a hug every day. With the virus going around, it might be a knuckles. But it might just be walking out the door and saying, I love you, Mom, or sending a text to a friend saying, you mean a lot to me. That's giving and receiving affection regularly.